Hey everybody, Questwise here. Today we're going to talk about the difference between retro clones and reprints when we're talking about tabletop role-playing games. First of all, I think we need to determine what exactly a retro clone is. Well, when original games such as basic D&D and second edition Advanced Dungeons and Dragons went out of print and became later editions, those of us who found those types of games very, very exciting found it very, very hard to find original copies of those. They became very expensive. They became very hard to find early days of the internet. Well, the genius idea, especially when the Open Gaming License came about, was to create retro clones, such as Iron Falcon by Chris Gonnerman or The Hero's Journey by James M. Spahn. So a retro clone is basically a retooling of the rules of the originals, but represented so that it still captures the feel, still captures the influence of those original games. In Iron Falcon, there's a section in the back of this that talks about how to play the game as if it were the original, using the original rules, and this is a pretty close approximation of those rules. And it gives you sort of different ways on how different people played them, including Gary Gygax himself. The Hero's Journey by James Spahn is a collection of rules that are based on the originals, but gathered up to his most favorite selections of those rules, with a few new tweaks in here and there. Now, a few months ago, maybe a year or so ago, the DM's Guild, through Drive-Thru-RPG and the such, began to offer reprints. They're scans of the original books. Now, these are my originals, but they began to offer scans of the original books that are available to purchase as PDFs, and in some cases, print on demand. For instance, the Rules Cyclopedia, which had been online, an expensive product to find an original of, is now available as a complete scan as a print-on-demand product for about $30. So the question is that going to hurt the value of the original? Are people buying the original Rules Cyclopedia for the nostalgic factor of having an actual copy of the original, or were they simply looking to play with those rules? And if that's the case, why wouldn't you go for a print-on-demand product? The question I want to focus on today, though, is if you had the choice, which you do now through the DM's Guild, to play the originals, whether it be, Basic Edition, BX Edition, or whether it be, Second Edition, or First Edition AD&D, or whatever your preferred old school original version was, would you choose to play that over top of something like this excellent retro clone? I don't seek to sort of have any answers for you today. I'm simply opening a discussion for this type of thing. I would love to see your comments down below or see some video responses to this. But I just wanted to throw some things out there and give you some ideas as to what the difference maybe really is. So, playing an original version of the game, and I've gotten a lot of responses. I sort of prefaced this video yesterday by putting out a small teaser of what I was going to do today, and I got a lot of responses back. And thank you to everybody on Google Plus and on Facebook who responded to my little teaser photo. I wanted to talk about, and I got the responses I got, I wanted to talk about a little bit today too. Some people say that they totally just looking for the flavor of the old school experience. The idea that the rules were light to some degree, depending on what your game was. The rules were light, and they left more of a narrative focus. And so I got so many responses of people saying that they're looking for the experience of the old school game but they would stick with the RetroClones. Some people said that they really want that nostalgic factor of actually playing the original game, taking them back. Some people said that it's sometimes better just to have the nostalgic feeling of remembering what it was like then, but moving on to newer types of games. Why would you choose a RetroClone over the original if you had the chance? Well, the originals were not always known for being very, very well organized, and especially original OD&D. You know, these were a little bit better organized than the originals, but still, this can be, feels like reading a VCR repair manual. It's not sometimes fun. Unless you like those types of things. Second edition became rather crunchy and used Thaco, which many people really hate. To hit armor class 0, if you don't know what Thaco is, Google it. It's the boon and the bane of many a role-playing fan. So many people love the feel and the style of second edition, but hated Thaco and hated doing those little calculations to make those things happen. Many of these games, many of these RetroClones give you the option of using either the Thaco idea of a descending armor class or the more modern version of an ascending armor class. So a lot of these give you those options of which to use and which you prefer the best. If you feel that descending armor class or Thaco provides more of that authentic feel, gives you the options to do those. If you feel that it's just a waste of time and it gets in the way of getting that authentic feel, it gives you the ability to use an ascending armor class, which is a much more modern take on the armor class idea. These are also more well organized. These are usually include lots of new modern art, though in this one James Spahn tends to stick with some of the original Larry Elmore art and those style of artwork. It makes it feel very classic. This is a great game, by the way. If you haven't had a chance, I'm going to do a full review on this very soon. But this is a great version of a RetroClone that I enjoy running very much. As well as Iron Falcon. There's a lot of RetroClones out there that I really enjoy. But there are times when I feel like I want to go back to the originals. I want to show people, because there's a lot of people in our community who've never experienced these. They've never, these or the Back Me set of rules. They've never ever gotten to see these. And with the DM's Guild doing those things now, I think it's a nice opportunity for them to be sort of redone. I would love to run an old school day at a local convention or at a local public store, a gaming store, of just running something like this. Pre-gen characters, a quick adventure, using these rules and showing people the sort of what it was like to play in the days when these were the king, when these were what was available. So, originals versus RetroClones, or reprints versus RetroClones, which would you choose? To me, I love them both. I love the aspects of different things. I guess it depends on the mood that I'm in, on what I want to run. I find the RetroClones, and this is only a small spattering. I've only just grabbed 2 off of my shelf, but there's Swords and Wizardry, Dark Dungeons, I believe, is a RetroClone of 2nd edition. There's tons of them out there. People, this has been a huge, RetroClone phase. Has been a craze, I should say, has been very popular. To see each different author sort of take their spin on things. So Chris Gonnerman is best known for his basic fantasy role-playing game. This is sort of his take on the original rules and different variations on how to, his take on the original rules and just a straight up look at those, but with a few smattering of things in the bag here to make it run however you want to kind of make it feel, how original you want it to be. You know, James Spahn has created something that's captured, in my opinion, the perfect essence of what is old school role playing, but has put a few twists in here as well too, things that he enjoyed from different editions and different variations of the old school game. So let me know what you think. What do you think? Do you I saw a lot of you out there talking about you know, that you would not want to go back to the originals. A lot of you say that you would only prefer to run the originals if possible, if you had those accessible to you, which most of them are now available. Or would you stick with the RetroClones? Or have you moved on? Have you moved on beyond that, and they're just now nostalgic factors? You know, that some of the more modern editions, like 5th edition D&D, sort of stands on the shoulders of those giants. So let me know in the comments down below. Hit me up with a video response, however you want to do it. But let me know, what are your thoughts on RetroClones versus reprints? Until next time, I'm Questwise, and we're out.